Okay, Zoom is unmuted. You can begin.
Okay, CW there on Zoom.
Yep, everybody's Zoom. Good afternoon, everyone. Robert, we're going to start the meeting now. We have one person coming, but when they walk in, they'll join. You have to excuse Robert. His voice is a little weak today, but he's getting better, so he's doing good. A little influenza, but we're doing well. Well, I didn't want to say the flu, but close to it, right, Robert?
Yeah, I'll stay up here.
Yeah.
I,
If you can't hear,
can
you
can you hear me?
raise your hands if you can't hear. Okay.
Just want to welcome everybody for coming. As you know, I've probably already been introduced to us via text message or email or however. I just gave you one of our books to let you know who the FSFA is. That's our annual magazine. You can kind of read through that and see where our history is. Currently, I'm Robert Amick, the Executive Director and immediate past President of the Florida State Firefighters Association. We have Chief Blosser on Zoom currently. He's the Vice President of the Florida State Firefighters Association. And Eric Grajales, who is caught in some traffic, will be here in about 8 minutes, he says. Will be coming through the door here shortly from Tallahassee. I am from down by Avon Park, where our office is. Mr. Blosser is from Boca Grande. And we have seven other board members, plus training officers, et cetera, in our regiment that will be helping us regain this department and putting things back together, hopefully for everyone, and so we can provide the best service for the community. As far as a little bit of historical information for the FSFA, Chief Blotzer, are you on? Could you take care of that for me?
Yeah, can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. Well, we'll try to save Bobby's voice as best we can. The association is a benevolent organization. It was founded in the 20s. Our roots in the Florida Fire Service obviously go way back. We're proud to say that we were responsible for the creation of the Florida State Fire College in Ocala. We're not really responsible for it now, so don't hate on us for that if you've ever had any trouble with them. But we were the school used to travel, and way back in the day, and the association took care of it, and then we finally found a home in Ocala for it. Decades ago. We have we sit on the joint council with the legislature with Florida. So we sit on the joint council with other fire organizations, the chiefs, the forestry. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but I believe there's 7 seats, and we're one of the equal founding members of the joint council. The fire marshals sit on the council with us. So we take part in the joint council. We were still responsible for what we call the Great Florida Fire School that travels around the state. We haven't done it the last couple of years because of COVID, but we were responsible for and procure that and get that thing going and move it around. It's a little different than the one that you guys do up in the Panhandle, but very much the same concept of that. And we have we're located in Avon Park. We have a 5-acre campus in Avon Park, Florida, located on Highway 27. We have some equipment that's stored there, as well as our administrative offices. It's one of our administrative offices. We have another one in Port Charlotte, Florida, and we have a disaster response team that we're very proud of that we created a couple of years ago. And what that team does is, and the first time that it was stood up was after Michael. Basically, we go in after the storm, or we post up somewhere. And then our mission is to go in, and the State Fire Marshal's Office actually helped us create it because there was a need, there was a gap, a void. And we go in after the storm, and our mission is to support the first responders that have been affected so that those guys and girls can work and not have to worry about their homes or their stations, so they can continue their mission. And then we come in behind them and try to take care of them as best as we can. And that's a whole other program that we'd love to share with you guys. Some of you may be familiar with it. That we have there's a whole app-based web-based function that goes with that you can actually push a button on our app if you need help post-storm, and it'll actually give us a location, and then we can come find you. So we've been, like I said, we've been around for a long time. We also, part of the things that we bring to our membership is we can go in and kind of tailor or fashion an educational program for you. We can do. We have a stable of instructors from everywhere, all walks. So we can part of being a member is of your department is we could come in. We've done everything from evoc to pumping to just the sky's the limit. We used to do the 160 class back in the day. We had a good success with that when they first started that, until other entities could stand that up and get going with that. We were one of the first entities that was on the ground doing that. So we just about have the ability to teach or do any type of educational situation that you could need based on our stable of instructors and our members and folks from around the state. So that it's a big nutshell. That's it in a nutshell. Any questions on that? Crickets, huh?
No questions. Yeah, and basically just a quick summarization. We've over the years, one of our main missions has been, since the start of the organization, was to create and develop fire service departments around the state of Florida, back when there wasn't any. Back in 1891 is when the organization actually started. So we have stood up many fire departments throughout our years of the organization, and we've assisted a lot of departments in different factions of their problems or issues, and we've saved a few. This will probably be within the last 30 years, one of our first that we've had to rebuild from the ground up. But it does sound like the Franklin County is willing to put the effort forth, and by them bringing us in to help out shows that as well. And looks like we're going to be able to get you guys back up and running. And from the list that I've received up here of people who are interested in coming back to help out, I'm not sure if all of you out there are on this list or not. If you're not, we'll make sure you get on it before the day's over. It looks like we're going to have a good ability to do that, to turn things around. That was the one thing we were unsure of, was there going to be a lot of people here to help the department out and become part of it. Is everyone in here, by a show of hands, here to do that, to join the fire department? Okay. That's a good amount. And basically, on the first item on the agenda would be the reorganization of the department. And that's, the reality of that is the state that it's in now, from what I'm told, is completely closed, right? I did pay a visit to the firehouse, and those of you that have, I'm sure you've all seen it at some point, right? Does everyone in here live there, in that area? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. As far as firehouses go, it's a norm. This is Eric Grajales, our director, and director and executive volunteer fire services for the state. He lives in Tallahassee. But from what I've seen, the state of the firehouse itself is nothing unusual compared to a lot of the volunteer houses across the state. There's a few exceptions that are maybe exemplary to that. Plantation Fire Department's one. I mean, that's the premier volunteer fire department in the state of Florida. And I've seen them as bad as having roof leaks and the roofs falling over and the trucks all having flat tires, and still to this day. So you guys aren't in that bad a shape, but you definitely need some upgrades and some help, and that's what we're going to do. It's beyond the reorganization of the organization of the group itself, where we go, however we're still working that out, how the Franklin County actually wants it pulled off, to where we're going to have presidents, vice presidents, secretary treasurers, etc. We'll know that by next meeting, as well as we'll know what we're working with. We've got some applications up here that we'll give you here shortly. And but we're going to help you reorganize your group effort. We're going to help you get training in line. We're going to help you get your ISO rating corrected. We're going to help you with your reporting system to the state. We're going to help you with getting grant monies for that, for getting equipment. We're going to help you with getting the fire station up and running, maybe get some upgrades going on there, computer-wise. Notice that you guys are still using, looks like steel bottles. For your SCBA air packs, we're definitely gonna upgrade you on that deal. We're gonna get you guys moving forward. You have anything to say as you just come in?
Hello. Let me start off with that. I apologize. I got stuck behind a tow truck and it was a slow trip all the way over here, so I apologize for that. I want to introduce myself. My name is Edgardo Grajales. Everybody calls me Eric. I'm here to support and help you guys on this beautiful kind of family thing, gathering, and the fire service is a family. It's a community, but it's a family. We look after each other, and it's a big brotherhood, and we're here to help. Anybody has a question or concern?
I have a question. Under department structure, who in the room has been on this department before? No one.
What do you mean?
Have you been part of this volunteer firehouse before?
Yes.
Yeah, by raise of hand? Okay. Can you explain to me what the structure used to be like as far as chiefs, lieutenants, battalion chiefs, training officers, senior officers, anything like that?
It used to be a big family. Some were related, some were not, but they went back many, many years in history together. Some of them were on the department for 20-plus years. Some of them lived there all their lives, dedicated their lives to the community and the department. For a long time, it was a big thing. The fire department came together, they done fundraisers, they helped out the community. There were always somebody that was there in case of an emergency. And I don't know what has happened, but it is falling apart.
Yeah, I noticed the pancake signs and the gumbo contest. I'd like to be near that gumbo contest one day.
Leonard used to be always first on scene.
Right. But was there a fire chief, correct?
Yes,
Did he have an assistant chief?
he did.
Did he have a training officer or any lieutenants or battalion chiefs?
He had a captain.
He had a captain. Because one thing in the restructure, and we don't want to get too far out from what everyone already kind of knows and understands, because some departments don't have captains, they have lieutenants, they have battalion chiefs, different names to call. So there's no sense in upsetting the apple cart in the list of pecking order that you understand. It's all the same pecking order, but at least the lingo of who's who. Much easier if we can at least stick with that kind of structure. Did you have senior officers on the truck, or did you have?
A lot of times the senior officer was on the truck because he was usually, him and the assistant chief and the captain were basically the only ones to respond.
Right.
They were usually always on scene.
What about fire training, education background for, what was the levels of that?
I know the fire chief was a firefighter 3.
Okay.
Assistant chief was firefighter 1, and wildfire, she's also a first responder. They done their training annually and routinely through East Point, St. George Island, Alligator Point, whoever was doing the training next. They were all,
What requirements did they have of you? Did you have to be CPR at least? Did you have to be first responder? What were your levels?
of course, you would have to do your, in-house training, at least 20 hours in-house training before you could even get on the truck.
Okay.
But yeah, first responders and firefighters definitely have to have CPR, BLS, and AED training.
Okay, so you did have to have BLS and AED, right? Okay.
I'm gonna ask that if, ooh, this is louder than I thought.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna ask you guys pass this around so that, because we're trying to record it, so we'd like to have a record of the questions that are being asked. Let me turn this down first. No, that's this one.
And were there any levels of, let's say you didn't have any of that, was that, because some departments have what they call a support group volunteer, a support level, and then a responding level, and then a level to be on the truck and a level to be structured. Did you have those same
Yes, sir.
stair steps?
I can't tell you exactly which
Hold
level
on,
they.
let him get that to you first.
You guys can just pass this one. Thank you.
I can't remember right off the top of my head which level, who, held what. But they did all sit at certain levels, as firefighters. And then there were certain members that weren't firefighters that were just members of the fire department that helped in administration, fundraising, cleaning, lawn care, things like that.
So none of that's gonna be strange to you, so that's
No.
good. And I noticed that when I was there, I saw some pictures, like some pretty spectacular fires, whether they were training fires or not.
Yes, sir.
Um,
They have quite a history.
Yeah. And definitely fans of the positive pressure ventilation. I see the giant, look like an airboat hanging off the back of one of those fire trucks in there.
They were
Huge.
always down for excitement. They
Yeah.
lived it.
Well, that's what it's all about, really. That is. And that's, hopefully we can return that excitement to you guys, help you. Like Eric was saying, not only what we do is we also, we believe and we understand and we eat, sleep, and work fire all the time. And 85% of being in the fire service is having the brotherhood and having the family.
Right.
If you don't have that, you have nothing.
Right.
And that's
You gotta be
probably
able
what
to
happened
trust
here.
that person coming in behind you.
Right, exactly. If you can't live together at that firehouse 24/7, you can't fight fire.
Absolutely.
Hey, Robert, I got our, his hand is raised on Zoom. That's our local news reporter. You okay if I kind of unmute him and see what his question is?
Sure.
Let's see here. Okay, David, I'm going to click. You need to take yourself off, unmute your mic, David, and you can begin speaking.
Michael, I was just asking about making sure people identified themselves and spoke into the microphone so I can take notes. I don't know always who is speaking, other than these two gentlemen from the association.
All right, we'll try our best, sir. Okay?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Do you want to say your name for him?
My name is Tanya, resident St. James, Putnam.
Thank you.
Any questions from the crowd at all at this point? Any comments? Any further input as to insight, what she was giving us? That's part of this meeting, is so we can get some insight, so we can try to build a playbook for this. We have one in the back, please.
Thank you, Commissioner Bowe, for passing this.
Thank you, Bert.
And after that, I have someone else
I
online.
want to make sure I'm not too loud on this. My name's Harry Larson. I'm also a resident of the fire district, and I have family, friends, and all that live there, and we're all concerned about our fire department. It seems to have fallen down, I'd say 6 months, some people say a year, but right now we have nothing. So the community, there's been a lot of talk in the community as well as over here in Appalachia about how we stand this thing back up and get the services we need over there in our district. The fire problems worry us, and frankly, the traffic on the highway worries us because we're growing faster than our infrastructure can manage in our part of the county. What started off as a little Lanark village has grown into several larger areas in our district, and the fire department's going to need extra support versus what it had 20 years ago. It was a well-managed fire department. A lot of the guys that stood it up and dedicated themselves to it have now passed on or retired, or they've just moved away. So it fell. And I want to say that most of the people in this room, we've all had meetings over there. We've talked about it. We all come here today to offer you our support, and anything we can do to help you guys stand our fire department back up. We have a lot of resources. We have engineers, we have administration people, we've got people that have been involved in the fire department. We have citizens that have lived there for 20 plus years, and we all feel like we can bring a lot to help get this done in the quickest manner possible. But we want to assure you that we're here with open arms, and we want you guys' help. Anything we need to do, just let us know.
100%. That's exactly what we're here for as well. And as long as the community gets around it and re-embraces it, then this is going to make our job very easy, and it's going to be a lot of fun for everyone, because we're going to bring you some things that you've not heard of or seen before, and they're going to be fun, and they're going to be great. They're going to make you do great strides. We're going to learn from you guys, I'm sure, a lot of things that we've never seen before, and we're going to put all that together. We're not here to come up and give the big iron hand. This is the way it's going to be. We're here to rebuild this community fire department with the community, if possible.
I assure you that we're all here for the same cause.
Yep.
We want to help. We have a lot of resources to bring. We want to help.
Yep. The only way for this type of fire department to prosper is for everyone to come together, because we couldn't come in here with 80. You couldn't give me 200 guys from Tallahassee and come put this fire department together. It won't work. This department has to come together with the community.
We
So that's
realize that no one person's going to do this. It's going to take the efforts of all of us.
It's going to take a village.
Yes.
It's like a baby.
Repeat myself. I
Yeah.
want to assure you guys that we're going to be open ears. Just tell us what to do. We have a lot of experience. I've got firefighting experience from my job.
Great.
But I'm not a brush firefighter in the state of Florida. You know, I work for
Not
Civil
yet.
Oil Company. I had to be trained in firefighting, rescue, water rescue, safety, survival. I had all this training, but we need your expertise, and we're all here to welcome you.
Thank you very much. I got one in the back there.
I'm Barbara Roars, and I'm in the district also. My concern is the fact my homeowner's insurance has not been aware yet that we do no longer have a fire department. Yes, I'm afraid of newspaper, everybody here leave, but between the fact that we have a dismantled fire department and in the District of Lanark, there are no, as Harry was saying, our community is growing so vastly. And after Indiana Street, anything west from Indiana to Lake Morality Road, there's not one fire hydrant. And when the district was dissolved, the city of Carabel made all of these promises to us when they took over our water district, our land, and everything else. And when I would speak to the people in Carabel, all they do is complain about how expensive a fire hydrant is. Well, there is infrastructure grants, I'm assuming, but then I also see going west of Carabel, a new community that is being built along Highway 98, and my goodness, there's fire hydrants every, 1,200 feet. And so I don't understand why our communities, we were told that because there's no 6-inch water main, which a fire hydrant requires, but my neighbors, when they built their homes, they put themselves on the city water, and they purposely only gave them a 4-inch main so they could not have to put in a fire hydrant. So the city of Carabel needs to be addressed in our community, and they need to invest in our community because we gave them a lot. But we're looking forward to you all coming in and helping us with regrowing our fire department. Thank you.
Hopefully I can help you with a couple of those questions. One, as far as the insurance goes, from my understanding, that Carabel is doing your coverage now. So that's not going to affect your insurance. Only by response time, and by the time that we get this back up again, that's not going to make a big difference. As far as the hydrants go, I don't know anything about the community that you're talking about, but I do know I am in construction and development myself. So if there is a big development going in west of Carabel and they're getting fire hydrants, because that development's paying for them. It's a requirement for that for a brand new plan unit development to be placed anywhere in a community. It is on the developer to purchase and pay for that water to come to them. Otherwise they can't build. It's part of their permit money. So it's not like the city's just handing them money. Probably they may have made some kind of deal. I don't know the thing, but I just know when you build a new community, that developer pays.
I see. Okay.
over here, I think.
Just back to the hydrant real quick, to the hydrant concern. Yeah, if your infrastructure, like you said, can't support it, it doesn't do you any good to put a hydrant somewhere that's not gonna work. So the whole thing will have to be looked at some point and see what kind of, what's under the ground, what's in there.
Yeah, we could put extra hydrants in everywhere, but if we can't get the water properly to the hydrant, get the GPM flow out of it, it's no good. It's gonna ruin the rest of the hydrants.
How many homes are in the district? Do you guys have, somebody has kind of a ballpark number?
Say what?
We can get that from the county, do
Okay. But that's okay.
I heard 800.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about 800. More.
So we're growing faster than we thought.
Yeah. East of Lanark, west of Lanark.
And one of the goals that we're having here is, once we put this back together, is to assist. One of the missions that we've received from Franklin County is that we assist you in getting your ISO rating corrected, or at least do better, or at least meet it one way or the other. And that's what has to do with your insurance as well. And more fire hydrants are going to be a subject of that ISO rating, at least if nothing else, dry hydrants. And some ulterior water sources, one way or the other. So it's all sufficient, as well as your response times. More comments? So let's go on to the recruiting part of this. What we have made up, Mr. Morales is going to pass out for you. This is just a generic application, so we know who you are. You can fill it out today and turn it in if you like, if everyone has an ink pen. Or you can fill them out at your leisure and turn them into, I believe, our administrator here will take them up. Sir, go ahead. Yep, he'll take it. As but we want it, the sooner we get all these back, and the sooner that we can process them with with our contact, which is the Franklin County attorney and the administrator. And then at that point, then we will start moving forward, so we know who we have, what we have, how we're going to set organizational structure, how many volunteers that we may or may not have. Also on that, I had a question. Does anyone in the room know of anyone else that is interested that could not make the trek today? Okay. So if you will, if we have enough copies left over, take one for that person as well. If not, just don't write on yours today and make a copy for them if you don't mind. Or you can email me, which is the bottom of that, and I'll send you another one electronically.
All right, I got one person online that's raised their hand.
Go ahead.
Last number 1549. I'm going to unmute you on my end. You need to mute your phone.
Hello.
Yes, good.
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon. Can you hear us?
Hi, yes, I can. Hello, Robert. Hello, Adolfo. Hello, Mr. Blosser. And this is Debbie Jordan Famey, and I'm sorry that I'm physically unable to be there tonight. I did submit a resume, a couple copies of a resume with one of the people in the audience, Mrs. Victoria Hart. So I want to make sure that you get it, and I would like to definitely get an application as well, so that I can be the most effective volunteer that I can, because I live a block from the fire department, so I'm very concerned. I want to see it up and running as soon as possible. That's all.
Okay. Send me an email, and I'll email you this particular application we have now.
Okay, thank you, Robert. Or Mr. Blosser.
Go ahead, sir.
Is there an email address where we can send these to, or what do you suggest?
Yeah, it should be at the bottom of that.
Maybe I have a different one.
It's at the bottom of the agenda, Mr. Harry, right here.
Is it?
Yes, sir. Right here. I'm pointing to it on the agenda.
Still here.
Yeah, absolutely.
really need our social security number, and things like that? If you're a firefighter. For background
Yep.
checks. Yeah. But not for fire. I mean, not for that. I know.
Take one home so I can copy of it home. So how do we get it back?
Yeah,
to
no,
y'all?
this information is not going to remain in our possession at all. The Franklin County is going to keep that, we'll have that information.
Some of them don't, in the agenda. Shows,
Did it get cut off?
Yeah, that- Eric, how
Did
do
you
we
look
get
at
it
the back?
back to you guys? I want to take mine home and make a copy
Oh,
for other people.
okay, you can email it to us.
Just email this, scan it, and
Oh, I'm sorry, you know what? The email address is on the agenda.
yeah, we have it.
It's on the agenda, not the application, sorry.
Get one for Debbie, Vicky. Debbie wants you to get one.
I didn't do the paperwork, so, sorry, apologize. The email address and phone number is on the bottom of the agenda.
And I also had a copy of this on a PDF in the county's website. For anyone, you can just go and download it and print it and then email it. I'll also add your email to the website too. Make it easier for everyone.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Debbie, we got through with Debbie? We're good? Okay.
It looks like some of y'all seen our new magazine. It looks like you guys have it. Please check it out. We are gonna, it has really good information there about, it goes from recipes to exercise to things that are going on in the state. We have a great communication with the state fire college and information of different departments, and we're always engaged on different activities. So when we launch and everything is running 110% like it will, we have an opportunity to put you guys in the magazine.
Yep. And I did notice one other thing when I was at the department, that you guys were reporting to the state for your fire calls. Is anybody in here, was anybody in here in charge of that or doing that task?
That was the fire chief.
The fire chief was doing that? Okay.
Yes, so what we'll have to do is this is Debbie Blosser again. What we'll have to do is go in and try to, Bobby, did you know, was there any computers there at all? Any,
Yeah,
how they were doing the reporting? Did you see anything?
Okay.
There's three.
You'll
Say
have
it
to
again.
figure out
I
which.
lost you. Yeah,
If you're not,
they're
up-
doing some type of reporting, and then we can go backwards too. We can go through the state.
right. Yeah, if we can get that up to date with the state, if it's not up to date, there are different grants out there as well that we can obtain pretty easily, actually, and help you steer you to those.
There's one unit, if you went upstairs to that upstairs room and saw the setup up there, that is not the fire department's equipment. That is, the fire department had an agreement with the Lanark Village Association to host a DVR and camera recording equipment for the boat storage unit in the rear. And that's maintained by the Lanark Village Association. It's not fire department property.
Okay.
It's a DVR and a CRT and a keyboard, and that's about it.
Yeah, I didn't get close to it, but I did see it, that it was security cameras.
Yeah.
Somebody has a fan blowing on it. So I just backed away. Looked odd to me, so I thought, okay.
So where are we at on the agenda?
We're at anticipated time to be back online. I didn't expect this large of a turnout, so our anticipated timeline could be pretty short, actually, but we do have plenty of housekeeping to do. What do you think, Mr. Blosser?
Right. Well, obviously, I'd like to. We need to break down the applications and see what we have as far as ability and training and certifications, and then start some kind of rebuilding the structure. And it really shouldn't take that long. If we've got a good crowd there, if we have a good base, then that's what we were hoping for, to be honest with you. This is awesome.
You distributed a list that has, already has volunteers on it. That was passed around. Do those people need to reapply?
I would assume so, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And we're helping, our position here is to help. We were brought in by Franklin County to help stand you guys back up. So we are kind of their boots on the ground to put this together. So everything that we do has to be reported back through them, of course, as a guidance, because we're their guidance arm, I guess. But this list that's been given to me, that application, everybody needs to be on that application so they can re-establish their paperwork or however it's going to go. Because there's going to be some business reorganization going on as well, I believe, with the accounts and different things like that that are behind the scenes. And also, one other thing, I want to go back to my open conversation with your history. Historically, did you meet monthly, weekly, quarterly?
Second Thursday of every month, they had a board.
So you met on the second Thursday of every month? Okay. Was that well attended, and did that work for everyone?
Usually it was just the firefighters.
But that's the board, correct? But what about training?
Training, they, every 2 weeks usually,
Every 2 weeks?
at least once a month. They would get with, Mr. Pruitt and East Point and do in-house training.
That's been some time. That's not a recent thing.
That's not this year, no.
Okay.
You said second Thursday of the month? And when you made a comment, you're saying that was just the firefighters?
Well, usually the board and the firefighters were the only ones at the meetings.
Well, who else was there besides the board and the firefighters?
That was it.
I'm sorry.
The mic is over there.
It's right here. It's right here.
It's on the podium.
Podium.
That's usually.
Michael, right here on the
written on
podium.
Thank you. Sorry, Mary.
it. Usually loud, but
Let's go back. The question was when did you meet on a regular basis? Was the second Thursday of every month?
Mm-hmm.
And then you said there was just the board and the firefighters.
Right, the members of the fire department.
Okay.
They would meet, but they would just do, whatever trainings were coming up, whatever needed to be done at the
Right.
fire department, they would just have a meeting and see what's next on the agenda.
Or maybe I'm reading into it too far. By the way you're saying it, it sounds like there was another group of people that's been segregated out of that meeting somehow.
Lately.
What group is that?
It was the original board that was with the fire department.
Right?
They slowly resigned.
Okay. All right, well, maybe, okay, I get it. All right.
Then it was
Just as a-
restructured and the county took over. So
Just as a
of course-
general statement,
Yeah.
in case I'm reading this wrong or I'm not reading it wrong, what she's saying. But when we reestablish this, our goal will be to, it doesn't matter whether you're the chief, you're a board member or lieutenant, or the person who has to clean the latrines,
Right.
or the support group, or the person that just comes out and hangs out, and helps out and brings Kool-Aid.
Right.
When we have that meeting, everyone is invited, not just the firefighters. It's a whole deal, whether it be the auxiliary or however it is, the meeting's for everyone.
Right, the meeting was for all the members,
Okay.
the auxiliary and everyone, but usually it was just the firefighters and the board that showed up.
Okay, I have one in the back.
That was one of the biggest issues in the past, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't all get along together.
And one of the styles of meeting that we'll probably go through will be what seems to work best for most all fire departments because of the limit of the ability of the volunteers, of course, because you have jobs, you have lives, you have things to do. That will combine the monthly meetings with training as well. We'll do a meeting and then a training on that same night. So it's just one night, you show up, you're there for 3 or 4 hours, do your thing, go home. And that way there, everything's put together great. Another one back behind you?
Another point for you. Of course, it was a retirement community and now it's outgrown itself, but you'll still find it's mostly retirement and vacation houses. And the pool of potential able-bodied young firemen that can drag a hose 2 blocks down the road, we're gonna have to search for those. There's not a whole lot of them in our district.
Well, start a new exercise regimen, I guess. We're gonna start
Yeah.
teaching everybody how to drag some hose.
These 2 fellas here are part of the golf course community, and they hold a lot of weight out there, but they've already told me they're not dragging fire hoses in August.
We'll get some squirt guns for you.
There you go, just so you're aware of that.
Yeah, I did notice there's some areas there that have a high potential for some severe fire load with how close those little houses are and how old they are.
The old village
Yeah,
was actually,
unfortunately, you have a huge.
the old village was actually barracks for training for soldiers in World War II. And they were painted and patched in the 60s to form a retirement community, but it's all sawmill pine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we all know what sawmill pine turns into after 100 years.
Light or not,
Yes, sir.
and it's all ready to go. Yeah.
I think, well, she had her hand raised, but she put it back down, so I'll wait until she raises it again.
Somebody on Zoom have a question?
She did Miss Debbie Jordan again, but oh, there it is. Hold on. Let's see. Yes, ma'am? Miss Debbie? Hey, Miss Debbie, you're unmuted. You can go ahead. Come back. She's.
Let's go back to, basically, we're down to the anticipated time to be back online. With this, again, if everyone is willing to come together as it looks here, and we're not gonna have other turmoils to deal with, and everyone's on the same page, we should be able to be back online. I would think logistically, I mean, I hate to say 2 months because that's a long ways, but I don't wanna say next month and then we end up with some paperwork nightmares one way or the other. But as things start to come together, and as Franklin County feels comfortable with getting us back online, we're going to be doing things between now until we get back online, meaning we're gonna be doing some training, we're gonna be doing some restructure, and we're gonna be things are gonna start happening real soon, but we may not be fully operational until we pass what Franklin County has bar they're gonna set for us. ma'am.
While you're getting everything assessed and ready to, I assume, meet with us again, what can we do to help further your actions in getting it? Can we give out applications and talk to people and send them to you in this process?
100%. That's the biggest thing for any undertaking of this is going to be people. We need as many people as we can get that are willing to help and become volunteers, and that's our first and foremost mission.
And is there anything else we can do?
I mean, unless you have some connections with some fire truck dealers and some equipment guys.
Oh, yeah.
But that's our part. That's our part, what we're going to try to do. But really, is going to be volunteers to come out and sign up and be ready to rock and roll.
Okay, thank you.
The fire trucks aren't in that bad a condition. They just need some maintenance and some TLC. The place needs cleaned up, as you've seen if you've been there. I think a lot of the volunteers here are ready to go to work as far as cleaning it up. But we need to establish ourselves and have some direction on what to do.
Yep, once we get through the applications, and then Franklin County gives us our next set of marching orders, then what we'll do is we'll set a meeting. So anybody, your contact info are gonna be there. We'll set up a blast where everybody will understand, everyone will be in communication at all times, what we're doing next. And then we will, one of the best exercises to encourage volunteerism is to give volunteers something to do.
Exactly.
And obviously we have a lot to do there. So maybe one of our first projects will be pride and ownership of the fire station.
That's what we feel needs to be done first.
Yep.
I wanted to ask if at the next meeting, can it be closer to home?
Yes, next meeting will be at home.
At the fire department?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yay, good job.
Yeah, we did this here today for a couple of different administrative reasons that we don't need to go into, but just the reality of it is, I'm glad we had this much of a turnout. I know it's a trek to get over here, but for some of the anticipated problems that may have been occurring, that we were told that were going to occur, and for the fact that Franklin County is the one handling this, so that's where everyone chose, and we had a part in that decision to make it here. But from here on out, everything's going to be at home at the firehouse, where it belongs.
I think Ms. Jordan is trying to speak again. Let's try one more time. Hey, Ms. Debbie Jordan, you're unmuted on my end, and you're now unmuted on your end.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much. This is Debbie Faney Jordan again, and one of the things that I wanted to bring up is based on the people who are speaking today, it sounds like they're largely from Lanark and Lanark Village. However, this fire district spans a very diverse demographic, including St. James Bay and freestanding single homes on 98, and I'm not sure how many of those people are aware that this meeting is going on, and I feel like it's really important to mention that there is a bigger voice out there and a bigger demographic, a bigger pool to pull from, to look for volunteers and to look for board members. So I just want to know if the word has gotten out to the whole community.
I'd like to speak to that. We're quite aware that, we're a lot larger, and we go to the resources we have. Everything is put in the paper, on Facebook. We put flyers out. This is Pat Funderburg, excuse me.
Okay, but you're a community member just like myself, so I'm asking the county what the county is doing.
But Ms. Jordan, if you could hold on, I'll let Ms. Pat answer, then I was going to answer after that. So.
Thank you. Sure.
Continue, ma'am.
I kind of answered, thank
Okay.
you. We do try the best we can to put out with the resources we have.
Yes, ma'am. And the county did the same. It was on the county's website. It was forwarded to the newspaper and the radio for their distribution. It's on the county's website. And when this meeting is over, the recording, the application, and any other necessary information will stay on the county's website, and will stay there for anyone. You guys could point anyone that needs anything to the county's website, or just send me an email. It's just either which way is how we do it. But like Ms. Pat said, we use what we have to the best that we can.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
Before we move to the public questions and comments, if we haven't already covered those, but I have one more question. I gotta go back to my notes. The alert system, how were you alerted to the fires and calls?
The firemen were using a text system. They were taking text messages.
Text message on your cell phone?
On cell
pagers?
phones,
Or?
yes, sir. They were all registered to some alert system that Franklin County sent them individual text messages.
Okay, so that's done by the
Yeah,
county.
so what I'll do, have to put you in touch with the dispatcher. So actually, a number of the fire departments are having, the sheriff's office complained that their system is outdated because a lot of them use the old pager systems and different texts, and we kind of want them to move up to, because we bought a console for dispatch. It's like, what commissioner, both $750,000, I can't remember how much it was. But anyway, where we have the different systems, newer systems they can use that would, if they use their cell phones that are fighting the fires, like that bad fire we had in East Point, a couple of firefighters got lost. Well, the dispatcher will be able to look up at the map and point to everybody and say, this is where he is. But it's a slow push. Some of the other fire departments are resisting because they just, change. You know how change goes. They like the old pager systems. So anyway, but we're trying. We're trying to move everyone
So
up.
they are on a cell phone system now?
No, I think a lot of them are still on the pager system. I do not know what line of
GPS coordinates through text message, but it all comes over the radio.
the radio.
But when it comes to the radio, it goes as a tone out on the radio, and then it gives the address. Then you guys get the text message with the coordinates and what's the what's going on, correct?
Right.
Okay.
And then either the chief or the assistant chief would find out who is available to
Well,
respond.
but do you guys call in the radio and say, I'm en route, I'm responding?
Yes, they would answer back to dispatch and let them know their number and who's responding
Okay,
to the call.
so there's not a slow movement of talking to the chief finding out who's
No.
available, and then,
No, that's not what she just said. She said the chief responds by radio, but how does the
Because
chief know
usually
you're?
he's the one that holds the,
But how does the chief know you're coming?
because they're usually together. They usually hang out at the firehouse together.
No, I mean you. How does he know if you're leaving your house to go?
Well, I would respond back to the radio and let the radio know and let the chief know that I was responding.
So you have a radio also?
I don't know. But I've been with the radio before.
Yeah, so it is, again, I'm not speaking specifically to Leonard, but I know some of the other fire departments, exactly what you're asking. And a lot of it goes through either the pager or the chief. He talks to everybody, then it comes back to him, then he talks to dispatch. So it could be slow rolling at some.
Let me.
Some of the volunteer fire departments, not all.
Let me set a scenario. It's 3 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon. Take your pick. Fire call comes in. You guys are all doing your own thing. Everyone in this room is a volunteer on that fire department. How did you get the call, and how does the chief know you're coming? Or do you just show up?
It's usually the radio and text message.
But how do you communicate that you are the one that's going to respond, is what he's asking.
How do you tell the chief?
If I don't have the radio, I call the chief.
But does
Okay.
everybody, is there enough radios in that house for everybody to have one?
No,
Well,
sir.
there was, yeah, previous firefighters haven't returned their radio.
are they still in the same system?
Yes.
Okay, so those radios belong to the county,
Right.
not to the station, correct?
So we need to make a note to get those
The
collected.
will.
radios back.
Yeah, I'll talk to Attorney Schuler.
Most of the communication's been by text, because I'm on the text chain too, and it comes from Franklin County. And then they communicate with each other on the text. I don't know what happened several years in the past, you know. The fire department worked, and frankly, the community left it to work, and we all got involved when this crisis came about.
Okay. All right. Chief Blosser, you have anything else?
Also, I'd like to add that to follow with Miss Debbie Jordan, she's well known in our community, but we have people here from all the different districts. They're on the list of potential volunteers. So we wanted everybody to be included, everybody to feel like they had a voice in this.
Yes. And thank you definitely for the turnout. Chief, you had any comments?
Yeah, just the big thing, the main thing, the takeaway today, this evening is, thank you everybody for coming. This is a great opportunity. Your county commissioners very much want to do the right thing. That's why they sought us out, so that we can help you guys. At the end of the day, Robert and I both started out as volunteers in the last millennium. So we still remember what it's like to be a volunteer and appreciate those days very much, both in communities that had lighter pine structures. So we understand that. And we're looking forward to working with you guys. Just make sure that we get your contact information, fill out those applications, get them out in the community. The sooner we can get some of that back, we can start formulating a structure and, get this show on the road. I'm excited for you guys, very much so.
I'd like to just say welcome. I'm Bert Bolt. I'm the county commissioner for this district, and we in Franklin County celebrate volunteerism, and we want to see that activated and get back together again. So I certainly will pledge all the resources that are appropriate for the county to help assist you, and we welcome you to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else have any public questions or comments? Eric, you have anything?
No, I'm very excited to meet all y'all and see the nice turnout, and thank you very much.
We'll probably have to announce that, won't we?
Yeah, we're going to announce the next meeting, but it will be at your firehouse.
Yeah.
Once we get through the application processes and a few other bookwork logistics, business logistics of the company the fire department's actual structure with the state of Florida,
Yeah.
and then we can move forward.
I'll probably try and make sure it's announced on the website on the county, the preceding county commission meeting. I'll make sure I keep pushing that when the next meeting is. Now, I can't promise logistics like Zoom at that meeting, but I'll see what I can work out though, okay? Thank you all for coming, and thank you for the ones that attended via Zoom. Thank you all so much. Have a good evening.